Hello, everyone. The Westport Country Playhouse would like to welcome you to another episode of Coffee Break. My name is Jacob Santos, and I'm your host. So this is the space where we talk to artists, and we talk to them about their careers, their experiences here working at the Playhouse. We talk about representation and the industry. And today, my guest is Esteban Suero. He was in our production of Man of La Mancha in 2018. And I'm so excited to speak to Esteban because he is so amazing and talented, and I really want to get into his brain and his experiences here at the Playhouse and also in his career. So, and I also want to acknowledge how nerve-wracking this space is for me and maybe even for Esteban, because we have not met officially before. So now we're meeting in this digital space, in this digital sphere. So I'm really grateful to him for coming on. So now we're going to go into also another nerve-wracking point of the show is when I accept the guest to be on. So we are at the mercy of the internet. So usually the guests see me just staring at a blank screen, waiting for the screen to load to get the guest on. So I am going to get Esteban on right now. And it could be a smooth transition or how it usually is. So now I'm waiting for Esteban to come onto the show. Thank you for everyone for being here. Hey,
Hey,
Esteban, how are
how you
you?
doing?
I'm
How
doing
you doing?
good. I'm doing good.
Great.
Yourself?
Let me just adjust the camera here so that
Of
we can
course.
actually see me and not just half of me. Hi, how you doing? What's
I'm
up?
doing well. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining me for
well, thanks
this.
for having me. I'm excited.
Of course, like I was saying, we haven't met before, so
No, I
this is
know.
a weird digital way to meet.
I know. We've definitely interacted virtually via emails, but no, this is the first time we're seeing each other. We're gonna create a bond here. It's gonna be great.
There we go. We love it. So,
Yeah,
first question, and this can be an easy one or it might be a hard one.
yeah.
How are you?
Whew, you're right. That's a loaded question. Today I am well.
Mm,
We just have to take it one day at a time. At least that's what I've had to do, is take it one day at a time. Today I'm doing well, um, and as well as anyone could be doing in the middle of a pandemic slash quarantine for how many days now? It's been in New York at least. It's been 100 something days of quarantine, about approximately. Yeah, so I'm doing as well as I can be doing.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, it is crazy just to be, even just to say the word, we're in quarantine, because in our minds, we go back to horror movies or something you would only see on the news in a certain building or in a
Yeah,
town. But now it's this worldwide thing where we haven't experienced that before. So we're
yeah,
all kind of learning of how to live in this new
yeah.
space. So
I keep talking to so many friends about just we are all literally going through a global trauma, basically, right?
Mhm.
So when we are our generation or these generations, when we come out of it, it's gonna be different. We're gonna be those people who have stories to tell our grandchildren or generations to come, yes, the pandemic of 2020, I was there, I lived it in New York City. you know it's gonna be it's yeah it's interesting.
Yeah. So, Esteban, I always like to ask all of my guests, what was your journey beginning theater? So, how did you discover theater, and what was that process like?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take you on a journey here, okay, because
Yeah.
it's a little convoluted. So I originally wanted to be a writer when I was in high school. I wanted to be. I was The plan was to become a creative writing literature major in college, and then I needed an extra credit in high school, my senior year, to have all my credits. So I took choir for just let's just do it. And then through that, I was like, oh, maybe I want to be a singer-songwriter. And so I started dabbling in that, and then I accidentally uh, started doing theater in college. It was totally by accident. I auditioned for this one school, Columbia College in Chicago, to be part of their singer-songwriter program. And I got in, but the tuition was far too expensive, and I didn't have a backup plan. I literally did all the things that, like your counselors advise you not to do, right? I only applied to the one school and I didn't have any backup plans. So I then attended a community college in Miami, Florida, where I'm from. And those first 2 years were very theater, music based. And then that's how I started doing theater. And then I went to grad school in Oklahoma City. And was exposed to music theater, truly exposed to music theater there. Kristen Chenoweth and Kelly O'Hara both graduated from Oklahoma City University, so it's a big music theater school. And yeah, and then I auditioned for the New York showcase. I got in, did the showcase in the city, got an agent from that, and then I've just been here doing the thing, and auditioning, and got to do a show with Westport Country Playhouse, and that's how I've been introduced to theater, all truly almost by accident, all of it.
Wow, I feel like that's the case for so many people.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of like fall into this industry and this art form.
Yeah.
And I totally relate to you in terms of like when I was applying to college, I only applied to one university and I got waitlisted.
Oh no.
So I was like, is college even going to be an option?
Yeah.
But then eventually I got in, so that worked out.
Good, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So you said, like, obviously you were in Man of La Mancha here at the Playhouse. So, like, what was that experience like for you?
That, you know what? Okay, I can be a talker. So I'm gonna, because I just love telling stories. But when I'm gonna go to the very beginning when I got the phone call from my agents saying, that there's a possibility I could be part of Man of La Mancha. I remember I live up in Inwood, so not too far away from the Bronx. It's a couple stops away, and I was at the Applebee's right outside of Target in the Bronx with a friend of mine, and I get the call, and they say, hey, you're going to be, we officially got in the offer, you're going to be in Man of La Mancha for the role of the Barber and Ensemble, and I honestly started crying just because it's every moment like that, every like a little achievement like that when you're an actor means so much, because whether or not people are aware of it, there's so much that goes into that, right? Like you do the 1,000 auditions, you get 1,000 rejections, 1,000 no's, and of course, we learn how to like not take it on and not like it's not personal. We can't let it be personal. But then when you do get that yes, you're like, oh my God, and it's like a wave of relief. But doing the actual show itself, I had never been in a show or a production that was almost entirely actors of color, and that was one of the most empowering experiences I have ever had in my life, especially as a Latino actor in a show, in a Hispanic or Spanish show, story. I've never experienced that. That was the first time I was exposed to that, and the bonds created between castmates were just so visceral and so like deeply rooted in culture and mutual experiences that it's just being in that show is phenomenal. And I remember I sent a letter to Mark Lamos, the director, and just having to thank him for like giving us a platform, giving us actors of color, Latino, Black, giving us a platform to tell a story, because and this is so relevant right now with everything that's going on, that doesn't happen often. It's so rare that it does. So that's what that experience was like for me. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm part of a Latinx student council group, and we had a meeting this week, and we played a little game where everyone kind of said like what kind of show they would want to be produced in a season. So of course, a group of people of color, all of the plays were by playwrights of color, about characters of color. And it was so extraordinary to see the joy and the excitement rise up in each like little box where each person was in across my screen. And I was like, that's what it is. It actually does mean so much to us to see that representation. Yes,
it means so much. And I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I, growing up, didn't have, Latino out in American culture. I grew up with what my mom watched, like telenovelas and whatnot, right? But I didn't have, in American culture, I didn't have proper Latino representation in any of the media I consumed, whether that was music or movies or music videos, what have you. You know, it was very stark. So I think it's so important that we give people of color more frontline storytelling, not
Hmm.
background storytelling, right? Like, let us be at the
Yeah.
front lines of it. Because there are little brown boys and girls and little black boys and girls and little Asian little Asian boys and girls that want to see themselves on the stage and want to see themselves on TV, and that's so important. So important to feel like we belong, you know?
Hmm. I'm so glad you said that, the thing about not being background but being on the front lines, like
Yes.
being the lead, because
Yeah.
we definitely digest that. If all the representation that we see is side characters are being sidelined, then we
Yes.
kind of feel like we should be sidelined in life, which isn't right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think it's so great to see us be the heroes of the story.
Yes, I agree. I was just a quick little tangent here. I had a meeting with my agents, you know, because I've been with them now for 4 years, and they're amazing. We've really got into like a really healthy stride with our relationship. But early on, I had to meet with them regularly to say, hey, listen, like, I may not be 6'2", I may not be white, blonde, blue eyes, but I'm a leading man. If you give me the opportunity to be a leading man, I am a leading man. You just have to give me the opportunity first, right? Like, I don't want to be the Mexican immigrant. I'm not Mexican, right? But automatically people just assume, oh, Latino, Mexican, right?
Hmm.
I'm not I don't want to just play the Mexican immigrant. I don't want to play the Latino drug lord. I don't want to play the sex offender. I want to tell stories that everyone can relate to. Let me be the Latino Evan Hansen, right? Like, let me be the Latino Mark Cohen in Rent. Like,
Hmm.
let me tell those stories as well. It's so important that we tell those stories.
Definitely, definitely. So Esteban, acting isn't the only way that isn't the only way you express your art. You're also a photographer as well. So I was wondering, like, how did you get into that?
You know, just like the rest of my life, all completely by accident. I have a friend who was a photographer, and I was like, you know what? It was right after, I think it was right after Man of La Mancha, and I was in a bit of a strut, and, you know, I was coming down from like the high of being in a show at a reputable theater, um, cast by a reputable casting office, and like auditioning and auditioning, but not getting any work. So I was like, I need a creative outlet that isn't theater, because right now theater is not making me feel good, right? So I asked my friend, I was like, hey, can I borrow your camera? I think I want to start taking photos. And so I started taking photos, and then found out that I was actually pretty good at it. Still had a lot to learn, and still have a lot to learn. But I was like, oh wait, I think I got something here, and then just kind of built upon it. And obviously everything's been at a standstill right now because of quarantine, and you can't get that close to people. But I'm very excited for when all this is over and I can start photographing people again. And like I was saying earlier, I love telling stories, and not just on stage, but I love to tell the story in a photo as well, in a portrait. There's
Hmm.
so much that can be said by a stare, by not staring at the camera. You know, like, this storytelling is so important. So I'm very excited for when I can start doing that again. Yeah.
Definitely. And it's so valid, like photography, because like Instagram is basically just like a medium for
Yes.
photography for
Yes.
people to consume stories and lives that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. And like, what do you enjoy most about the process of it? Like the actual like mechanics and the nitty-gritty of actually doing a photo shoot?
Honestly, it's the breaking down the barrier between me and a stranger, because by the end of it, I leave the session and I feel like I've just made a new best friend. And I hope that that's how the model feels as well, right? But by the end of it, I just feel like I've captured this person from every angle in a way that no one else has viewed them before. And so now I feel like I know them, like they know themselves, right? And it's such a beautiful process. And then I will tell you the part I hate the most
Yeah.
is afterwards going through all the photos, because I like to go through the photos and get rid of the photos they don't need to see, like the half blinking or like the blurry photo, right? They don't need to see those. That's my least favorite part of being a photographer. But the thing I love is really just making that connection with the model and just like diving deep. And I ask them personal questions. If they're a person of color, I say, you know, are you of an immigrant family, and what has that been like? Or if your family doesn't live in the States, do you miss them? Show me how you miss them. We sometimes talk even about just the nitty gritty, like even sexuality and freedom of sexuality, or the lack of, you know. So it's a very lost you. There you are. I got you. Okay,
Definitely,
cool, cool, cool,
definitely.
cool.
Oh, this is this platform.
No, it's spotty. There it is. Oh, now I'm losing you. It's my nervous tick. When I get nervous, I just spontaneously. Oh no, I think we're getting some spotty. Wait, you're kind of back? Are you back?
I think I
This
love
is great.
it.
This is great.
Here we are.
Here we are. Okay.
I love how both of our reaction look really close to the screen.
I know, just like maybe if we stare hard enough, it'll come
Awesome,
back.
but here we are. We are shaky, but we're back.
We're back. We're back.
Awesome.
Um,
So I was wondering if you could humor me in this topic. So I've been like obsessed with this idea of theater etiquette. Like, what are the
yeah.
rules for audience members to come into the space to see theater? And some of them being like, don't speak during the show, or like, you can only go to the bathroom during intermission, or don't be on your phone. And I'm wondering to see, like, you've been an audience member, but you've also been an actor on stage. So, like, what is your
Yeah.
perspective on like audience behavior in the theater?
Yeah. Um, you know what? I am not very conservative when it comes to theater etiquette. I do think be respectful of the performers on stage, right? Like, don't whip out your phone and start recording. Don't start texting. Don't start answering a phone call. Don't try to have a conversation with the person next to you, or make loud comments on what's going on stage or a moment that's happening. But, you know, if you have to get up and go to the bathroom, by all means, quietly and politely get up and go to the bathroom. I've definitely been that person. I have the smallest bladder in the world. And when I gotta go, I gotta go. You know, and if I'm
You
in the
gotta go.
yeah, if I'm in the center seat of an aisle, sorry guys, I'm gonna try to hold it in as much as I can and hope that I can like quickly stand up when there's a blackout and like rush to the bathroom. But if you gotta go, you gotta go. You know, I think I definitely think if your phone goes off, silence it as quickly as possible. And I mean actually silence it. Don't hit like the volume button that like mutes the sound for that phone call, because then when the phone call comes back in, it's gonna do it again. So like actually take the
Uh-huh.
time to turn off the ringer, or put
Mm-hmm.
your phone on airplane mode or shut it off completely. Um, but I think theater etiquette, just focus on what's happening on the stage as best you can, because there are some artists on there, not some, all those artists, all of us are so excited to be there. And it's, you know, it's like I was saying earlier, right? We get all these no's and we get all these rejections. So when we finally have the opportunity to actually perform for a live audience, it is crucial to tell the story we're trying to tell. Um, so respect that. Just it's like to have as an audience member to know that this means so much to the actor they're telling in that moment. Oh no, I think I lost you again. I see you moving, but I cannot hear you. Oh, I think you're kind of
Stare
back.
at the screen again like we did last time.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So Esteban, we have a couple of audience questions that I want to ask you.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
Cynthia, who actually works here at the Playhouse, she wants to know a little bit about like what was the process of you studying operatic performance? So like opera, how did you get into that?
Well, Jacob, it's no surprise that it was completely by accident. So it was like I said earlier, I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. I auditioned for Miami-Dade Community College in Miami, where I'm from, and I sang. What did I sing for that? I sang an Evanescence song. Like I full on went in there and I sang like "Bring Me to Life" or something like that. This like the most emo,
Nice.
like alternative rock song I could find, and I didn't know what I was getting into. And then those 2 years was just those 2 years were me singing art songs, classical art songs, and arias and arietas, and then I didn't realize that there was something other than that to study as a singer. So I then auditioned for a bunch of programs, vocal performance programs. I ended up going to the University of Miami for 3 years for my undergrad, and I did opera there, and I got to play some amazing lead tenor roles in the operas. And then I went to Oklahoma City University, and I did my master's, 3 years of opera performance, and got to play a few tenor leads in that. And yeah, it was, but you know what, it was, I would not change that for the world. Even though my focus right now as an artist is an opera, I would not change that experience at all, because it has definitely provided me with some steady, grounded vocal technique that has gotten me through many hard shows. You know, like many days where I'm like, ooh, I don't know if she's there today. I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna come out. But I just do a couple of those vocal exercises, really tap into the opera technique, and it's helped me get through. But it was difficult. It was very difficult studying that. It's an Olympic sport almost, you know, to sing opera. It's so hard. You're asking your voice to do some really insane things, to sing over dozens of instruments, to fill an entire house without microphones. You know, it was fun. It was fun. It was a lot, but it was fun. I wouldn't change it for the world. I lost you again.
I always know it's coming. There we go. Give them vocals, Esteban. All right. So can you actually hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. No, I can't hear you anymore. I wonder what the people are saying. What are the
Awesome.
people
So
saying?
last community question.
Okay.
It looks like they're giving love that support.
Yes, come on,
Sing
love.
it. Love it.
Love
But
that.
Angie wants to know, I feel like she read your bio because she wants to know if you could recommend a restaurant you've eaten at on one of your travels.
Ooh, oh man. Uh, I'm trying to think. Okay. You know what? Just recently, I went camping with my partner upstate, and upstate New York, and we went to this restaurant. It was all socially distanced, so we were following all the rules. The nearest people were like 20 feet away from us. We were only being seated outdoors, but the restaurant was called Bistro LaRue. or Le Bistro Rue, something like that. Just look up bistro, and then the French word roux, Roux. Maybe it's because I haven't been to a restaurant in months, right? It feels like I haven't been to a restaurant in decades, but that was some of the best food I have had. We had scallops, we had chicken, we had steak, we had these amazing cocktails too. It was delicious. It's only about 2.5 hours north of us. So if you're ever headed upstate, anyone watching this, please go to Bistro Leroux. It's the food just melted in our mouths. It was so good. So and they presented it in such an artful way too. Like just the visual was satisfying. It was so good.
Awesome, Esteban. Well, before I let you go, I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Are you or are you not going to watch Hamilton on Disney Plus this weekend?
Oh, of course I'm gonna watch Hamilton. Duh, I'm gonna have to find someone who has Disney Plus to make it happen, but I'm gonna make it happen. 100%.
Awesome, awesome. Esteban, thank you so much for joining me on
Yeah.
this messy show.
You
With
know
the
what? It's
flag.
okay. We'll blame it on quarantine. Just blame everything on quarantine these days. Yeah.
Yeah, Esteban, stay safe. Thank you so much again.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that is another episode of Coffee Break. Thank you so much again, Esteban. And so sorry for the lag. I went to a new place, a new studio, like I said to everyone watching, with better Wi-Fi. But the internet's going to be the internet, but you had such great things to say. So thank you so much. And thank you for y'all for your questions and being here and showing love in the comment section. So I will see you again next week. Thank you so much again. Y'all have a great day.